Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery here with our contributors Jeffrey Kare and Cordell Martin. We are here to discuss the semifinals on Dancing with the Stars and then go over the dances for the finale, which we're recording this on the Friday before the finale, the 3 hour finale. You may be watching this after. You'll find out what we think and what's going to happen. So let's start with that the ending of the semifinals, which was that non-elimination twist we had talked about. Jeffrey, you sort of called that one. um, so After last season, they left all five going to the finale. This season, once again, all five going to the finale. I hope they don't if they're going to surprise us, eventually they're going to end up with like seven people in the finale. It's going to be too much. It's like let's make it an elite competition so that the top people actually get to the finale and it's not too many people. Five is about the limit, I think.
Mhm.
What did you think about that twist, Cordell, and seeing all five go to the finale?
Yeah, I know that we discussed it last week, so it was definitely a possibility. And I think as the night went on, and then once they got to the results, and whoever was the last two that were left, I was just like, feel like they're gonna fake out the audience and take everyone to the finale. With that said, I think all of the finalists deserve to be there. They each had a great season, so. I think it just speaks volumes to this season, how competitive it's been.
What did you think of it, Jeffrey?
Okay, so when I brought up the possibility, I placed it in third place in my predictions, but now I wish I put it in first. But anyway, in the end, I'm not surprised at all. I think, and I'm glad that all five are going to the finals because they've come so far in the competition and they each deserve to be there. So I honestly don't have much to complain about.
Now, interestingly, the judges did have some things to complain about. They were strict to, especially to Chandler and Joey. Carrie Ann called Chandler on a lift. Some of the scores were not as pristine and perfect as we might have expected them to be, which I liked, because sometimes the judges get to this stage of the competition. If they're used to giving someone tens, they're just going to raise the 10 paddle no matter what they do. And I like that they're still kind of discerning. Like they'll probably give like perfect scores to all the freestyles anyway, and let America decide or decide based on the scores from the redemption round, which will be the first round of the finals. What did you think about their routines, Cordell, Joey, and Chandler, especially, and the judging from this week?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm glad that the judges actually decided to do their job and judge accordingly, instead of just giving out nines and tens as we've seen in seasons past. With Chandler and Joey in particular, I mean, those, in my opinion, are the two to beat. And so it was good just to see them, continue to just raise the bar in terms of their performance. I thought they both just killed it, brought a lot of energy and really showed why they both deserve the Mirrorball Trophy, in my opinion. But yeah, I thought the judging and scoring were fair. I thought their routines lived up to our expectations. Yeah.
What did you think, Jeffrey?
When it comes to the judging, I'm sure the judges based their critiques on skills of the performances as well as how the judges themselves personally felt about it emotionally. So those factors probably played into the scores they gave. And as for, I guess, our top two, Chandler and Joey, I thought both were really knocked out of the parks. And yeah, definitely debating on which of the two could pull it out. Well, who has a greater shot pulling it out because it could be very down to the wire between the two of them, unless the other three surprise.
Now, struggling a little bit this week, he ended up at the bottom of the leaderboard, but of course made it through to the finale, as did everyone. Stephen Nedoroscik, who was actually the front runner in our odds as soon as the season started. He was the first celebrity who was announced, so that kind of gave him a head start. Everybody kind of considering him, and he was fresh off of that Olympics afterglow, which was huge. It's still there. I mean, he's still so charming that he has managed to outlast that. But his opening dance, the cha cha, was a bit like his timing again was kind of off, and his musicality was kind of off, and he got called on. He got eights from the judges, which at this stage of the competition is like getting fours on week one. It's eights are not where you want to be. But he pulled it out for a good second dance. What do you think of him? What his performances, and where do you think he stands, Cordell?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of, expected he was going to struggle with the cha-cha a little bit. I was surprised by the scores. Once again, I thought the judges were going to, lean heavily more in the nines and tens arena for all the celebrities. So once he received those eights, I was a little nervous that maybe his time was going to come to an end. However, to your point, I think he's definitely just been the charmer this season. He just has that, personality that radiates and really attracts the viewer. So to see him and his growth and just his excitement with this whole experience has been great to see. And I'm glad that him and Riley are able to go to the finale together and pull together a freestyle.
What did you think, Jeffrey?
Well, it does seem that because Stephen was considered such a front runner early on, that he started to become a bit of a target as the competition progressed. And, this past week, I thought his first dance was, maybe it wasn't great, but at least had energy, while the second I thought was much better. So I'm glad glad he made it to the finale. So I'm sure interested in seeing what, I guess, all these countless weeks of hard work will pay off for him. I guess semi spoiler alerts, I don't think he'll win. I think at best he'll probably finish, okay, no. At worst, he'll probably finish at fourth, only above Danny, but we'll have to wait and see.
And another celebrity who surprised me, although she shouldn't have surprised me at this point, because she, like the last couple of weeks especially, she's been such a clutch performer. Like she's been delivering when it counts, and her tech. I think she's the most improved dancer of the season from week one. Like her flexibility, her technique is just all there. Is Ilona. Um, I just think that she's delivered on the technique in a way that I feel like maybe Danny hasn't as much. Danny has been doing a good job, but I haven't seen as much of the technique growth as I've seen from her. So like I'm starting to think like maybe top three for her, depending on how the finale goes. What do you think, Cordell?
No, I agree. And to your point, I mean, she's just been hitting all the right beats these last couple of weeks. I mean, this past Tuesday just blew my mind with both of her routines. And it was just great to see her just have this transformation throughout the season. Um, because initially, I mean, we loved her, just her personality and just spirit and energy, but the dances just weren't connecting. And I just thought, okay, let me prepare myself that she's going to be an early exit or, out midway through the season. But for her just to continue to just grow and develop and really just put herself out there, it was just beautiful just to kind of see that Cinderella story all the way to the finale.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
It's amazing to see how far Ilona has come. I mean, I never would have guessed she'd make it to the finale. It's the beginning of the season, but seeing the butterfly effect she's had in more recent weeks, I think gives her a real fighting chance to victory.
And let's talk about next week's dances. The now to start off, it's a 3 hour show, so there's going to be I'm not going to call it filler, but kind of.
Yeah.
So there will be an opening number to "Holiday" by Madonna, and it'll be choreographed by Ray Lieber. There will be another promotional dance for the Dancing with the Stars tour for next year, and that will be. I'm actually looking forward to this. It'll be to Rush by Troye Sivan.
Oh,
That'll be fun, choreographed by Mandy Moore. And then I'm interested to see what this will be. Mark Ballas and Derek Huff teaming up for a dance to Liber Tango by Tango Bardo. I'm not exactly sure what that means, like a team up between them. Are they going to dance together and hold? That would be kind of cool. But I have a feeling it's just going to be both of them dancing with, a bunch of other
yeah.
people and do a thing. Um, and Sochi Gomez and Val Chmerkovskiy, last season's winners, they will perform to Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. And that's not the only time I will be saying Chappell Roan's name in terms of the songs being performed to. So it'll be interesting. So let's start with the redemption round for the professional dances. Um, these are routines that or in dance styles that the celebrities have performed to in the past, but maybe had room for improvement. So usually it's like an early season dance, sometimes later, but a lot of times those early season dances have more polishing that can be done. First up, Danny Amendola and Whitney Carson will perform a tango to I Had Some Help by Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen. That's weird. Like that song for a tango. I've been surprised before. Like I don't know what the arrangement's going to be on that thing, but what do you think, Cordell?
Uh, no comment on the song. I, hmm. I'm trying to remember like how his tango was week one because I was so far back and long ago. I feel like he got kind of easy on the dance style in terms of the tango. Yeah, I think with his performance, I think he should probably get probably nines on the performance. I mean, I don't really think it's going to be as challenging if he had like a samba or a cha-cha or somewhere or a dance style that really will force him to dance. But yeah, I think it's a solid dance choice for him. And yeah, the song choice, yeah, no comment, but okay.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, let's see. I thought both his routines this past week were the weakest of the lot. I mean, not that they were underwhelming, just fine. So, I mean, I guess hopefully Danny will step it up a notch next week, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Then you've got Bachelor Joey Grazade and Pro Jenna Johnson. They will perform a cha-cha to "Can't Stop the Feeling" by Justin Timberlake. That feels like more of a
Yeah.
fitting marriage of song and dance style. And the way he's improved over the course of the season, I'll say this for Chandler next as well, but I'm just not worried about him. I feel like he's got this pretty much. In terms of the dance, like I think it's still close between him and Chandler for the win. What do you think about that style and song, Cordell?
Yeah, to your point, I think this is just going to be hopefully an easy, perfect score for him. And Jenna, I think he has shown his versatility throughout the season. He does a great job of really just selling the character of each dance and just living in the moment. So I think this is going to be another fun routine for him, and that will translate to high scores.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
I mean, what more could be said? I mean, Joy has really been killing it throughout this season, and I think he's got some great moves up his feet for this, so I've got a lot to look forward to.
Then there's Chandler Kinney. She and Brandon Armstrong will perform a jive to "Apartment" by Rose and Bruno Mars. Um, that again, jive. I think she'll. I think she'll. I think it'll be good. I don't know what else to say about Chandler. I think it'll be good and potentially perfect. And a jive. I can't remember what the rules are for the jive. I can't remember if there are lifts allowed during a jive.
I know, right?
Um, that would be all they have to worry about. Like they should just you should just give her shoes should just like have like fly paper on the bottom so she sticks to the floor. uh, just in case. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I think just like with Joey, this is going to be a perfect dance style. I'm glad it's something upbeat, up tempo, that will definitely give Brandon an opportunity for them to be memorable. To your point, I think it's going to be high scores, and at this point, it's the finale. So if you guys want to have a lift or two or three, do your thing. So have fun with it.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I echo what Cordell just said, and yeah, I think it should hopefully be another stellar performance from Chandler. She's really well, she doesn't really have much to prove at this point, but hey, she's feel free to do some more anyway, because hey, she's really one of the very best contestants this season.
Then Ilona Maher and Alan Burston will perform another jive following Chandler's jive. It'll be to Shake a Tail Feather by Ray Charles and the Blues Brothers. Um, I mean, a little bit like Chandler and Joey. I would like if this had been midway through the competition, I would have said I'm worried about her on the jive. Um, like especially before she had come through in these last couple of weeks and become very agile and
Yeah.
very quick-footed, and her size has not slowed her down at all. Her muscularity hasn't really impeded her the way I think it maybe kind of did in the first weeks. It might have also been nerves and a little bit of self-consciousness, but I think I don't know if it'll be a perfect score, but I think it'll be I wouldn't like assuming no mistakes, like no obvious glaring like tripping and falling on the floor. Um, I would say like a 10 and nines or something like that. That's the kind of score I maybe expect for her. What do you think, Cordell?
I agree. And, I think she's now in that sweet spot where, to your point, she's comfortable being a dancer, understands, her body and the movement and all of that. It's gonna definitely be a fun routine. I mean, that's just a fun song. So I definitely see her and Alan just having a ball regardless of the scores. Feel like she might get dinged on the technique just because it's a very intricate dance with the jive. But nonetheless, definitely it's gonna be a fun routine.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I agree with you, Daniel, that if this was a few weeks ago, she'd probably struggle. But seeing how impressive she's done recently, I'm intrigued to see how she'll do with this one. So, hey, yeah, she has my curiosity.
Now, someone I am nervous for is Stephen Nedoroscik, for reasons we've discussed. He and Riley Arnold will perform a quick step to "I'll Be There for You" by the Rembrandts. Um, Again, it's sort of now or never. Like this is basically his last opportunity on like a non-freestyle dance, like one of these like more regimented dances to get the timing right on it. And if he can, it'll be such. I don't know. I don't think it'll be enough for him to win necessarily, but it'll be a really nice moment if he can keep it under control and just like land on the beat for one of these fast-paced numbers, the way he struggled to do this season. But yeah, I hope he has fun. So, what do you think, Cordell?
I agree. I think him and Riley are just gonna have fun with it. I think out of all the couples, I feel like both him and Ilona had the dance styles that I feel like will give them that opportunity as a true redemption for the season to really show their growth. So this will be an opportunity to kind of see him from the week that he did the quick step the first time to now. As long as he can get the timing correct and down, I think they'll be fine. But I think at the end of the day, as long as, all the couples just have fun with it, I think that all that matters, at least to the viewers. I mean, they already have their fan bases, so just have fun and enjoy the moment.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, he's got an iconic TV theme song to work with, and I agree that I think it should at least be a fun routine. Although, seeing how inconsistent he's been in recent weeks, well, this could be a big question mark.
At least with a quick step, he'll be in hold for parts
Yeah.
of it, so Riley can help guide him. Now, one thing I wanted to mention before we get to the freestyles is this season, if I'm not mistaken, we only got one samba. And that was when Joey performed it. And he did a decent job, but not perfect.
Yeah.
I think the producers or judges or whoever is deciding on dance styles from week to week know like that dance is kind of a kiss of death sometimes. So like let's be fair to these people, and they gave Joey the samba, and they're like, no, that's fine, that's fine. We can move on from the samba this season. That is. Am I Cordell? Can you think of any others?
No, I think I'm looking at the dance chart right now, and you're correct. Joey was the only contestant, which is very interesting because I feel like to make it even, they should give all the contestants the same dance styles throughout the season. But yeah, it's just very interesting how they pick and choose when they want to insert the samba for stars.
Yeah, maybe they were. Maybe it was like it was early enough. Maybe they were trying to get rid of him, like the Bachelor curse, like the
I know,
man.
right?
Like, all right, let's just get rid of him now. What do you think, Jeffrey? Would you have liked? What do you think, Jeffrey? Would you have liked to see more sambas, or are you good with just the one?
Well, I appreciate the variety so that we, the audience, could always have something different to expect. So I'm personally fine either way.
Now, going into the freestyles, obviously we can't really judge the dance style because we don't really know exactly what they're going to be doing. So we're going to be going based on the songs and vibes. And this one, it'll first one is interesting. Danny Amendola and Whitney Carson will perform their freestyle to "Pink" by Lizzo and "I'm Just Ken" by Ryan Gosling. I kind of like that for him. It's it like he does have that kind of broy energy. Like I feel like if Dancing with the Stars had been like if he had been on Dancing with the Stars like 2 years earlier, he would have been cast as one of the Kens. His job is football. I'm actually looking forward to what they do with that. But what do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Clearly you can see that he really wants to win by going with his song choices. I I don't know if he to me has that personality to really bring that dance. I mean, that song to life. If it was a Joey or even a Steven, I feel like they would be able to kind of, bring the little playfulness to that song. I just don't know if he can really capture the character of it. However, I'm curious to see what he'll pull out with this routine, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling is a tough act to follow,
Yeah, I know.
both in the film and at the Oscars.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think, Jeffrey?
He's got a great popular hit to work with, and I don't know how he's going to do, but there is a lot of potential for this to be one of his stronger efforts. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll say that.
Yeah. And we can be pretty sure there will be lifts.
Oh, the shirt ripped open too.
Yeah, his stock and trade. Joey Grazide and Jenna Johnson will perform their freestyle to "Canned Heat" by District 78, featuring Jake Simpson. I'm not familiar with this song, so I'm not sure what they're going to be quite doing. I feel like he's one of the kind of celeb who they're going to keep it sort of traditional in a sense, more traditional than like going wild and or doing like a drag performance or a cheerleading performance or one of those really like
Yeah.
broadly themed performances. He might like be one of those, let's just show how well you can dance kind of
Hmm.
routines. But I could be completely wrong. The song could be wild. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with the artist or the song, so it adds that little bit of mystery and curiosity to their performance. To your point, I think both him and Jen are gonna pull together a killer routine that's really gonna once again just establish them as one of the couples to beat. So excited to see what they'll pull out.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
I echo everything that's just been said. I mean, again, Joy's been doing such amazing, incredible, energetic work this season. So I imagine we should easily get something top tier with this one. In fact, probably everything from him next week will be top tier in more ways than one.
Then Chandler Kinney and Brandon Armstrong will perform their freestyle to Hell's a Poppin' by Eyal Vilner Big Band and Move On Up by Curtis Mayfield. This sounds like a lot of potential, like big band. I feel like maybe that's more of a sort of a Charleston-y kind of energy to it. Again, I'm not worried about her. I think this is going to be it's probably going to be very up tempo and energetic. What do you think, Cordell?
I agree. Very up tempo. Probably just more on like along the lines of inspirational too, especially with them making history as the first Black couple to make the finale. So I think maybe the song choice is gonna kind of pay a homage to that historic feat for them. I think they're gonna do an amazing job. I really think it's gonna be energetic, full of excitement, and will be another smashing routine from the two of them.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I think it'll be up tempo too, and I'm sure she and Brandon are once again going to do excellent work, really making whoever wins the Mirrorball Trophy a real, I guess, a photo finish. So, hey, again, I think there's a lot to look forward to with this one.
Yeah, and actually, Cordell, you mentioned the history of them being the first Black couple to make it. Is Brandon actually the first Black pro to make it to the finale? Because I can't think of any others.
No,
Oh,
Keo made
Oh,
it with.
oh, Keo,
oh
Keo
yeah.
did. That's
Mhm.
right. So, but yeah, it's the first Black couple to get this far.
Yeah.
So good for them. And
Mhm.
I'm really glad for him. He has worked really hard with some
I-
celebrities who didn't have as much potential.
Mhm.
Um, then Ilona Maher and Alan Burston will perform their freestyle to, I mentioned Chapel Roan, Feminine Phenomenon, and this version by District 78 featuring Mona Rue. But unless someone else performed this, unless District 78 performed a different version of a song called Feminine Phenomenon, I assume it's Chapel Roan. I think this is going to really play into the gender presentation kind of
Mhm.
idea that they've really focused on with her a lot through the season. You can be feminine in any body. You can. Womanhood is wide ranging and diverse. And this will show that off. And again, like with Danny, I'm expecting lifts. If Ilona doesn't lift Alan at least once in this routine, it will be a missed opportunity, and it will be Alan's fault for not choreographing that. So, but what do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be another fun routine. I really am curious in terms of just like the setting, the staging, the costumes. I really think they're just gonna go full out and just have fun with it. Um, yeah, I think it's just gonna be another fun routine and great way for them just to end the season on a high note.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I think there's always potential for such imaginative staging, production values, and dance steps. So I'm certainly am interested in seeing if Olona and Alan's performance here in particular will have any of that. If not, I'm sure it'll at least be, something really, really good.
And last but not least, Stephen Nedoroscik and Riley Arnold will perform their freestyle to Viva La Vida by Coldplay. Now, I feel like this is going to be one of those like really inspirational kind of dances, certainly with that song choice. Um, uh, it's at a tempo that I think he can handle. I hope they bring in his gymnastics to it. I thought they had an opportunity in the team dances a few weeks ago, and they didn't really, except he did like some flares on the ground, and
Yeah.
that was it. They really have an opportunity to lean into his strengths here. So I hope they do that. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a great song choice for them. To your point, it just has the right tempo that will not, cause any hiccups from a timing standpoint, hopefully. But also just has that inspirational arc to it that will help them, set them apart from the other couples who will be doing more of the up tempo and fast songs and energetic songs. So it'll be a great way for them to kind of separate themselves from the pack.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Once again, this could be a question mark for him. I hope it's one of his stronger efforts, although I do agree that this one has potential to incorporate some of his Olympic skills. So, hey, it should be an interesting thing to watch, at least.
So now that we know what dances are going to be performed, these scores, of course, will be added to last week's scores and viewer votes. So we saw that Chandler and Joey were at an advantage coming into this. Steven at a kind of disadvantage since he was at the bottom of the leaderboard. So now try to add scores to raise that up. Who are we thinking is going to win the Mirror Ball Trophy? I'm still cautiously predicting Joey, but I could easily see it being Chandler. Like it's a little bit like last season with Sochi versus Jason Mraz, and
Yeah.
Sochi ended up winning. And in that case, it was like the legit best dancer of the season ended up winning. I think as much as Joey I think has accomplished incredibly a lot this season, I think Chandler is the clear class of the field in terms of just technique and performance quality. But I do think that fan base that Joey is coming into this with and the skill that he's demonstrated, I think he will pull it out, but I won't be surprised by Chandler. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, echoing the same thing you said. I think it's between the two of them. Personally, I would love for Chandler and Brandon to win. But just knowing how the show operates, I wouldn't be surprised if Joey and Jenna won. Nor would I be disappointed because I think he's definitely proved himself to earn the Mirrorball trophy just based on his dancing. Danny could be a bit of a wild card. It just depends on his placement in terms of the freestyle, especially with a popular song that he will be dancing to. And we really don't know, how he's fared with the audience. So he could be a potential spoiler, or he might be like third or fourth. As we spoke earlier, Ilona could be kind of that third place finisher. And then Steven, I think, unfortunately, would probably be towards the bottom, maybe fourth or fifth. But I think it's between Chandler and Joey, with Joey kind of barely just inching out for the win.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Oh man, well, I'm currently undecided right now, although Joey wouldn't surprise me given how strong Bachelor Nation has been in the past, although he'd definitely be one of the more deserving alums to pull it out, so I wouldn't have much to complain about if he were to win. Although, man, Chandler's really coming in hot on his heels, so man, it should be hopefully make for a very exciting race to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here is what Gold Derby's odds say. Fans of Dancing with the Stars have been making their predictions at Gold Derby since the semifinals ended, and we knew that these final five would be going into the finale. And based on their predictions, we have their racetrack odds, and right now they're placing them in fifth place. They got actually Danny, which I disagree with. I don't think he's going to finish as low as fifth.
No.
But as we've said, we have not really seen him tested in terms of his fan base, so we don't
Mhm.
know really how much of it he has. Then fourth place, Ilona. Again, I think maybe higher.
Yeah.
Um, Then in third place, Stephen Nedoroscik is where our fans, our users are placing him. I think flip it a little bit. I think it's, Ilona, Danny, Steven, maybe, or Danny, Ilona, Steven, something like that. But I do have Steven in fifth place. Sorry, Steven, but I've loved your journey this season. But I do have you in fifth place at the moment. Prove me wrong. And then second place, Chandler, which means Joey is the front runner to win the season for Dancing with the Stars for season 33. As of this recording, things could change by the time you watch this. Yeah, what do you think of that, Cordell?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I think we kind of called it, early on. I think after like week 3 or 4, we kind of knew we're like, all right, Joey's probably going to be the one to beat. So for him to live up to that expectation and now, as predicted as the front runner, not surprised. Definitely with Chandler being the runner-up, as well. To your point, I'm a little surprised about Danny being in fifth because I felt like he was kind of that, spoiler dark horse from Chandler and Joey. So it was interesting to see with him being fifth. I think, like I just said, he'll probably be higher than third at least, potentially fourth. And then Ilona, probably third or fourth. And then Steven, clearly he still has a fan base that's rooting for him. So he might be the surprise of the night and maybe might end up in third. So this has been a very competitive season, and I'm just so excited just to kind of see how everything is going to shake out.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, the odds don't surprise me at all. I will say that in the predictions I do have now include Danny finishing in fifth, even though you guys made some good arguments as to how he could possibly finish higher. I do have Steven finishing fourth and Ilona finishing in third, but it could really go off course. So who the hell knows what the hell's going to happen?
Now, interesting. I have pulled up who our odds, Gold Derby fans were predicting would win the Mirrorball Trophy in week 1 before we saw any of them dancing. I'm always curious to see if we were on the right track or if we were on the completely wrong track. And in this case, the order is a little bit wonky, but the final 5 were in our top 6 for our predictions going into the season. Steven was the front runner going into the season. For Jen Tran, we ranked her second because we know how well bachelorettes have done in the past. So, it just made sense that she would be one of the front runners early on. Ilona was third. Chandler was fourth. Danny fifth, and Joey sixth. So we were underestimating Chandler and Joey, I think, because now they're the ones to beat. We kind of saw Ilona coming a bit. I think she ranked higher in that first week than she did in the middle weeks of the season before she really started to pull it out. So yeah, it's been a topsy-turvy season. Yeah. So I want to thank Jeffrey and Cordell for joining me as always. We will discuss the finale sometime after the finale. It's coming up on the Thanksgiving holiday, so probably sometime after the holiday.
What isn't the finale this Tuesday before Thanksgiving?
No, yes, but we will discuss it probably after the holiday. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you to everyone for watching. And if you haven't already, go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for who will win the Mirrorball Trophy, who will finish second, third, fourth, fifth, who will get the high score, who will get the low score, how many tens will the judges give out, and which judges will give the most points and which will give the fewest points. Those are very fun because the answers are usually the same. It's usually Kare giving the most points when she doesn't notice lifts.
Exactly.
But sometimes that surprises us because Kare was tied with Derek Huff this past week for the lowest
Oh,
the fewest amount of points given. Bruno actually gave the most points this past week. So if in a close race in our predictions, that could make the difference. With that, thank you guys again. And we will see you again after the finale. See you then.